Was Sheriff Joe convicted for doing his job? That's what. I'll make a prediction. I think he's going to be just fine, okay? But I won't do it tonight because I don't want to cause any controversy. Is that okay? All right? But Sheriff Joe can feel good.
All right. Was that as close to the President of the United States can come to telegraphing an imminent pardon, in this case, for former Maricopa County Sheriff Joe Arpaio? He joins us right now on the phone. Sheriff, very good to have you. Thank you.
I miss you, Neil.
It's very good to have you, Sheriff. Were you invited to this event, disinvited last night, just chose not to come? What?
I was not invited, but my gut told me not to show up. This will be the first time that I did not show up for his rallies, but I didn't think it was feasible because of the possible danger. I didn't want to be the cause of any demonstrations, riots, and that type of thing. I missed not going. I've been to all of his rallies, but safety was more important to me right now, public safety.
But to be clear then, Sheriff, it doesn't sound like anyone at the White House told you not to come. You made that decision.
No one, yes, no one told me not to come, but no one said I was invited either. So it was my decision not to go, but I missed it. It was a great evening for me. I really appreciate the President's nice comments and support. And one day I'll go public and talk about the tremendous abuse of the process. And if they can do what they did to me, they can do it to anybody. So that's not coming up right now. We'll just see when I'll be talking about it.
For those not familiar with the case, Sheriff, but this all goes back to a judge back in 2013 who said in the effort to go after undocumented immigrants, you were routinely fingering those of Latino descent, on that it was essentially racist. They'd asked you to cease and desist, and you were held ultimately in criminal contempt for not doing so, something that could land you in jail for up to 6 months, maybe more. I'm not aware of the statutes. But what is your reaction to that?
First of all, it started 60 days after Obama and Holder took office. That's when this started. And here we are now. I'm being charged with a misdemeanor, contempt of court. Sentence would be the same for barking dogs. They announced this the day before early voting, and then they went again and charged me 2 weeks before you go to the polls. So this is strictly a political hit, and I'll be talking about that in the future because if they did to me, they can do it to anybody. So we'll see what happens when this thing is resolved.
You know, Sheriff, not too long after this sentence was handled, you did publicly acknowledge that you might have violated that judge's order, but that it was not intentional. What did you mean by that?
Well, it was not intentional. My guys were doing their job. We had the authority under the program with ICE to do this from 2007 and 2009, and that's what this contempt. That was the period they filed a contempt against me, but we had the authority to do that. I don't want to get too much into this legal situation right now, Neil, but I'll have my day to talk later on.
Does it bother you that in the interim with all of this, you've been sort of held up as a poster boy for racism? I think it was the American Civil Liberties Union that criticized even the thought of the president pardoning you, that it would be account to an official presidential endorsement of racism. What did you make of it?
Well, I'm not going to get into the ACLU, but they're part of this abuse of the progress and process, and we'll talk about that later. She can say whatever she wants. Of course they're going to go against me. I'm like the poster boy. They've been after me since I started fighting the illegal immigration problem 10 years ago under the state law, which we had the authority, under the federal law when they trained and swore in 150 of my officers. So, but we'll see. The bigger picture, once again, is the abuse of the process.